Your Los Angeles Police Department needs your help in preventing crime during this holiday season. Today's program deals directly with what you can do to help keep crime down throughout the holiday shopping period. We take you now by tape recording into the City Hall, Police Headquarters, where we'll interview Chief of Police C.B. Horrell and those police captains who command the divisions particularly concerned with the holiday crime prevention program. Now, here is Cliff Bailey, who will be your host on this trip through the City Hall.
Thank you, George Martin, Jr. With the holiday shopping season upon us, and with the coming of the gala celebrations in every community, police know that crimes in certain categories will rise accordingly. This expected rise in certain crimes is being countered with specific law enforcement tactics employed by the Los Angeles Police Department. Our own Chief of Police, C.B. Horrell, and his staff of experts are here to advise what can be done by the citizens to combat crime during the Christmas and New Year holidays. And now, here is Chief Horrell.
As you indicated, statistics show that many crimes increase during the holiday season. These crime increases are in some way connected with the incidents of holiday shopping and community celebrations. We of the Los Angeles Police know from experience that this can be expected, and we are instigating the necessary steps to curb the seasonal increase in crime.
In other words, Chief Horrell, what you're doing is practicing prevention as compared with cure.
That's right. We're doing just that. We're not waiting until the horse runs away. We're closing the barn door now, if I might quote that old adage.
Well, tell me, Chief Horrell, this expected crime rise around the holidays, is this something peculiar to Los Angeles, or do you find it elsewhere?
This rise in crime takes place in every major city throughout the United States. It is encouraged by swarms of shoppers, congested traffic, and the general overall confusion found in downtown areas during the shopping period.
What crimes specifically do you expect to increase?
Well, because of the terrific parking problem, when careless shoppers leave valuables inside their cars and even fail to lock their cars, because of this negligence, we know that theft from cars normally takes a big jump.
What other criminals will be active, Chief Horrell?
Pickpockets and purse snatchers. These criminals thrive in crowded areas. You'll find them operating especially on streetcars, buses, and in front of display windows. And then you'll find the purse snatcher ready to strike at the first woman who makes a careless move inside the department store.
Well, then, this calls for your detectives, plainclothes details, to help catch these pickpockets and purse snatchers. I'm sure that that's well taken care of.
Yes, we're doing exactly that, Mr. Bailey. The commanders of those particular divisions are close to the problem, and they are here with me today to explain what specific measures have been instigated to combat these thieves. These captains are well qualified to speak in their respective fields.
Now, Chief Horrell, you said that community celebrations are also cause for worry around the holidays. Just how do you mean that?
Community celebrations, house parties is another name for them, are the signals burglars need to start their unlawful work. You see, some burglars are looking for houses where parties are being held.
Oh, well, these burglars then actually crash the parties. Is that what you mean, Chief Horrell?
Yes, while the guests are being entertained in the living room, these burglars will creep into the house by a rear entrance. Then they'll immediately go into the room where the coats and other valuables are kept and make a clean sweep of all property.
And the owner of the house, the person who is host to the party makers, is left in an awfully embarrassing position, what with his guests' fur coats and purses stolen.
So those particular crimes, then, are the ones we in the police department are concerned about during this holiday season. And I believe we can do something about them through certain ideas and suggestions we have accumulated. This advice is absolutely free. However, the entire crime prevention program, which we launched during this month, hinges upon the cooperation of all citizens in Los Angeles.
Crime prevention is everybody's business. That's one point your public relations office has been emphasizing, particularly during the annual Crime Prevention Week.
As Chief of Police for Los Angeles, I urge every citizen to cooperate with us in this pre-Christmas crime prevention campaign. But now, I want to turn you over to police experts who will tell exactly what can be done to combat this expected rise in crime during this holiday season. Let me name these experts. Captain Alfred T. Nelson, commander of the Auto Theft Division, Captain Blaine R. Steed, commander of the Bunko Fugitive Division, and Captain Warren Stilson, commander of the Burglary Pawn Shop Division.
Thank you, Chief Horrell. Now we'll begin with theft from automobiles. Let's see, that would come under your division, Captain Nelson, wouldn't it?
Yes, that's right. I believe that if every car owner will take Chief Horrell's advice and cooperate with us, we can lick this problem.
You know, it seems to me, Captain Nelson, that crime could be checked if people would use common sense. That's all it takes, common sense.
The best thing you can do when shopping is to lock your car and take the keys with you. Of all cars stolen, 90% are taken for purposes of joyriding. And of this number, 75% are stolen with the keys left in the ignition. Pick out those parking lots which have plenty of light. Light is the greatest deterrent to crime. And when you park, be sure to lock the car. I can't overemphasize that.
Get the lock-up habit. You know, that's a good slogan to remember.
Yes, it is. And don't leave packages and valuables inside the car. We advise people to lock up merchandise in the turtleback. Don't tempt thieves.
Isn't it a fact, Captain Nelson, that no car is absolutely theft-proof?
Yes, that is a fact. The most modern car can be broken into. However, by observing these few precautions, the shopper and car owner can protect his property.
Well, thank you, Captain Alfred T. Nelson, commander of the Auto Theft Division. Now then, we have the man who can tell us something about pickpockets and purse snatchers. He is Captain Steed, commander of the Bunko Fugitive Division. Captain, I'm sure that you have a detail of well-trained officers working even now to check this type of crime. What do you recommend that women do to make sure some purse snatcher won't grab their purse on the street?
Yes, we do have trained experts on the job, and we have some worthwhile advice, too.
Just where is the safest place for a woman to carry her purse?
By purse, I suppose you mean the handbags they carry. Women should never, when in a crowd, swing their bags by the strap or allow it to hang from their shoulder. Instead, we advise the ladies to place their handbags under their arms, above the elbow, clamped against the body firmly and held with a free hand.
Under the arm and above the elbow. No stranger, then, is going to walk up from behind and grab that purse. I can see that.
Another spot where this type of thief operates is inside department stores. You'll find them by the counters, where a woman lays down her handbag to pick up the item for inspection. The bag is opened and the coin purse extracted before the lady misses it.
Well, what about theaters, Captain Steed? Now, your detectives tell me that many criminals operate in movie houses.
Well, that's the time the criminal has his chance. As the lady or man makes his way down the row of seats and pauses to seat himself, he generally places his package on an empty seat beside him. The thief then reaches out and gathers up the merchandise and walks out without being noticed. So we recommend that people take advantage of those establishments which operate checking services. Use the checking stand in every instance. Check your valuables, which otherwise might be stolen.
And what about pickpockets, Captain Steed? What can be done to outwit them?
Well, there are many types of pickpockets, some men and some women. While it is difficult to give specific instructions, we might suggest some ordinary precautions everyone ought to take while in a crowd. By being alert and conscious of your valuables, you can greatly assist us in combating this type of crime, for a pickpocket operates much more easily when the victim's thoughts are elsewhere. Probably the poorest place for a man to carry his wallet is in his hip pocket. This because the pickpocket can take his wallet without being seen.
Well, I'll have to remember that advice, Captain, about carrying my wallet.
The point to remember here is this. When you are bumped or jostled in a crowd, immediately check your belongings. These pickpockets attract attention away from what they are doing by shoving and pushing.
I see. Well, what about large sums of money on your person, Captain Steed? Do you recommend checks?
By all means, use checks whenever you can, or open charge accounts. Never take more money with you than is absolutely needed to make whatever purchase you have in mind.
I see. Well, Captain Steed, those are very good suggestions to follow.
Before you sign me off, Bailey, or whatever you do to get me away from the microphone, I'd like to make this one announcement.
Why, sure, go right ahead. What is it, Captain Steed?
This business or racket of people soliciting advertising over the telephone.
Oh, why, yes, I've been reading a lot about that.
No one needs to be swindled if they'll remember this. The police department does not endorse any publications and does not solicit for funds over the phone. The one appeal which we make each year, and then not over the phone, is our annual police show.
That's a good warning to keep in mind, Captain Speed. And now we come to burglary. And Captain Stilson can tell us about this particular crime. Captain Stilson?
My primary concern is the party burglar, the burglar who crashes private parties, and in some cases who even comes into the house uninvited by way of the front door. This is the man we're going after.
Through the front door, you say? That's hard to believe.
Well, it's true, nevertheless. When people get into a mellow, celebrating mood, they don't pay particular attention to who enters their homes. Then, before they wake up to what has happened, the party crasher is made away with coats, purses, packages, and other valuables.
You recommend, then, that people check their guest lists and keep an eye on their guests, as one of them may be the unwelcome stranger?
And valuables should be placed in a room at the front of the house or in a hall closet. If you must use a back room, lock the windows and leave a light burning.
What advice do you have, Captain, for the protection of homes when the occupants are away?
Don't leave anything undone which advertises your absence. For instance, don't leave the garage door open. A prowler sees an empty garage and knows immediately that the homeowner is gone.
Close garage doors, that's a good idea.
My pet peeve pertains to stolen property. We in the police department demand positive identification of stolen merchandise. Otherwise, we can't return it to the owners. I strongly advise citizens to take an hour or so some Sunday afternoon and make a complete list of all articles in the home. Jot down their serial numbers and write down a brief description of each item and place that list in a safety deposit box or in some other safe place.
I see. Well, so as to give the police something positive to go on when they attempt to locate the owner.
That's right. As I've said, we can't return any property to owners who don't first positively identify the merchandise. And the best way to do this is by serial numbers. Of course, many items do not contain factory-made trademarks or serial numbers.
And then what would you suggest doing?
Put some personal marking on the article somewhere, anywhere at all, but make it so that you can establish ownership in event of theft. For instance, take this ring here. You see inside this band? Right there. I've scratched an initial. That would enable me to positively identify this ring as mine.
Well, I hadn't thought of that before, and it's a fine idea. Well, thank you, Captain Stilson, Commander of the Burglary Division.
With the advent of the Christmas and New Year's holidays, there comes the added crime of death. Yes, death. Death on the highways and streets of your city. Traffic accidents don't happen. Deaths on the streets are caused by carelessness, willful wantonness, and because of drinking behind the wheel. Your Chief of Police, C.B. Horrell, has a special warning to motorists over the holiday period. Chief Horrell.
The holiday season is a time for joyous celebrations, family reunions, and goodwill for all. Let's make Christmas and New Year's the safest ever in Los Angeles. If you drink, don't drive. Your police department is out to stop the drunk driver and the tipsy pedestrian. Our officers are out to protect you, but you must do your part. Drive sanely, drive wisely, drive carefully, obey all traffic laws. They are made for your protection.
You've been listening to a special tape-recorded program featuring an on-the-spot interview with C.B. Horrell, Chief of Police of the Los Angeles Police Department.